Hi YouTube, it's Fast Farmer here. Hope you're okay. Keeping busy and keeping safe during this crisis. A couple of days ago I uploaded a quick video just showing my DIY nickel plating process. The idea basically was to nickel plate some rusty old brackets off my speed triple. Speed triple's not been well looked after over the years. It's kind of been outside. The person I bought it off of previously had a go at tidying things up with hammerite and that's never a good idea on a bike. Looks okay on a mower or something, but terrible on a motorbike. So what I did was basically took the parts off, give them all a good clean up, and then DIY nickel plated them. I didn't buy a kit or anything off the internet, perhaps like one of the Gatoros kits that are really comprehensive and probably give you a really good finish but aren't cheap. I was trying to do it with items I could find in the supermarket, a couple of cheap nickel anodes which I got off Amazon or eBay, and a cheap power supply. I don't have a workshop power supply, so I had to kind of improvise with my own. You can use a low output car battery charger. That will give you 12 volts. I wanted to kind of go for something a little bit lower than that. So I kind of made my own power supply using a mobile phone charger actually. So I'll quickly show you what I created. I'm not an electrician, so if you're not confident in doing this type of thing, don't do it yourself. Talk to someone who knows what they're doing. First priority is to be safe. Please don't take my advice as the way to do it. I can only tell you what I've done. So basically I took an old iPhone charger. I chopped the iPhone plug off it, and basically there's 4 wires inside of it. There's a green and a white wire, which I believe are the data wires, and then there's a red and a black, which are the live and negative wire, and they are exactly that. What I found is when you chop it off, the wires are really fine inside, so really thin cable. There's a lot of armour, etc. in there to help insulate it and keep these things lasting well. So basically, when you connect this up, you connect the red one to the anode, the black one goes to the cathode, which for plating is the workpiece, and it's as simple as that. The process works really well. It never tripped any fuses or anything. I always use it with a power breaker, with a circuit breaker in there. Never had no problems there, and it plates really well. So you probably would get a better finish if you used a professional quality workshop power supply, but those things are about £50 off eBay, Amazon, etc. This was free. I'll show you some shots in a moment of its kind of power output. Basically it puts out around 5 volts, and when it's connected up to the workpieces to be plated, it's putting out about 0.55, 0.6 of an amp, and I think that works pretty well. So overall we're plating at about 3 watts. I'll show you that on my multimeter in a minute. It actually worked really well. The material I plated come out nice. The finish was really good. I thought it was going black when I was plating, maybe too high a voltage. It actually cleaned up really nice. So with a little bit of Autosol on the cloth, they come up looking really nice, and it's really smartened up the bike. So it's kind of things like nuts and bolts, things like brake pipe brackets I've done, and I've got a few other steel components which are generally pretty grotty that need to be plated. As I say, you can buy a professional quality one for 50 quid, or you can create your own for well, free. So I'll quickly connect my multimeter up and show you its outputs, etc. As you can see, when connected up to the multimeter there, you're getting a steady 5 volt output from the charger, and that feels like it's more than enough to plate with. You get plenty of bubbles coming off the workpiece. Really, I think it's the amperage is more key than the voltage. Let me just see if we can measure the amps on here a second. Okay, not connected up to the plating tank. You don't get anything like as much output, I don't think, through the charger. So currently it's only showing 0.39 amps. And when I was plating at the weekend there, I had quite a bit of material in the tank. I had probably 4 or 5 nuts and bolts and different bits and bobs hanging in there, and I was plating at around 0.6 of an amp, and all the parts were bubbling quite well. I left the parts in for quite a long time, maybe in for an hour, turned them around a couple of times during the process, and that seemed to give me the best finish. Anyway, I hope you found the video educational and useful. As I say, I'm not a qualified electrician. Please don't take my advice as gospel. If you don't know what you're doing, don't do it. Talk to someone who does. I'm going to be doing a few more videos showing sort of DIY hacks for motorbike restoration. I'm doing things on the cheap. I'm a farmer. I'm tight. I don't like spending too much money. So if you're interested in DIY cheap motorcycle repair techniques, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be sharing lots of bits and bobs. I've got a few bikes in the shed there which I'm going to be working on over this spring and summer. I kind of want to have a clear out in the shed and try and get the money together to buy a couple of bikes which I want to kind of add to my collection. So again, please subscribe, and hope you enjoyed the content. Take care. Goodbye.